Hey everyone, I have my guy Parker here who has taken the strategies and run with it and got some crazy results. Just wanted to have a conversation about how he's been able to do it. He's got 7 inbound leads from doing a Super Loom on LinkedIn. So yeah, spoiler alert, it's working super well. So thank you so much for coming on, sir. How you doing?
Of course, man. Doing well. Thanks for chatting. Excited.
Bro, honestly, it's awesome. So like, if you could tell us about what business you run and just where you're currently at, etc. Just a bit of context.
For sure. Yeah. Quick context is run a company inbound revenue, and our whole thing is, we've been doing sales funnels for B2B companies for the last 4 years. And specifically, we've been brought up kind of doing a lot of cold email, cold calls and LinkedIn. And even just what brought us here is, one of the challenges was that, those channels are continuing to get more and more saturated, right? And so how I came across you and the work that we're talking about today is just that challenge. Hey, how do we break through the noise while building trust with prospects?
I can imagine. That's why I continually attack cold email because in my opinion, there's a much better way to go about it. But so you mentioned that you were doing like the cold email route before, and it was getting a bit more challenging. And how did that look specifically?
For sure. Yeah. So essentially, like when we started the company 4 years ago, cold email was actually relatively easy to just like book meetings. And then like over time, Clay came along and it was like personalization was a big push, right? And then it was like, as the like Alex Hormozy books were coming out, it was like better offer. And then it was like, use trigger based, do research before and just triggers. And as AI continued to grow, all of that became not only more automated at scale, but also easier. And so more and more people started coming in, we're going to do cold email. And so the challenge became, it's like, even if you're doing cold email well, then the only solution after you personalize and after you scale it up and after you, trigger based, outreach, then the only way to break through the noise is just send an insane amount of volume. Right. And so volume just continued to get higher and higher for the same result. Right. And there's like two sides of it. One is just like from what I'm creating in the world and putting out in the world. I don't want to be somebody who's like, I'm sending 1 million emails a month on your behalf. It's like, well, to who? Like, that's insane. Right.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it's like, well, is there a different way to break through the noise that's not 1 million emails, but rather is like one piece of creative? And that's really what resonated with me about seeing your stuff is like, wow, one piece of creative. Well, of course that would break through the noise if I spent the time there. And so that's what I had really been kind of kicking around for a bit.
Amazing. So like you mentioned how like you came across my stuff. Like how did that process go about? Like what actually happened there? Even for myself, to be fair.
So no, this was one of my buddies, Mason. He's like a LinkedIn branding guy, so he'll do like posting on LinkedIn for people. And he came across your Super Looms and was like, he sent me the link, sent me your LinkedIn, sent me your website link, and I was like, I watched the first Super Loom, top of the page about the trip to Lebanon. And it just completely shattered the way that I think about sales outreach. Like how I had thought about it for years building this company was, well, of course, if you do enough volume at 1,000 contacts reach, then you get 30 positive replies, then you turn that into 10 meetings, and then you close 2 deals or whatever the numbers are. I always thought about it as a funnel. I had never thought about it as like high effort 1 to 1 to 1, right? Because it's just one outreach, one reply, one deal closed. And so it completely shattered the way that I thought about outbound and the way that I thought about sales outreach. And so when Mason sent it to me, I was like, dude, we have got to test and experiment with this like Super Looms concept and the hooks and the personalization and so started doing that, like picked 50 companies that I was like, here's companies that I might be interested in and narrowed it down to 5 or 10 that we were really excited about and either had a new hire or they were posting about some challenges or they were hiring for new reps, and we took those and then we just went super deep on those specific revenue leaders. And that's where we're at, now is like having actually started to really play with and experiment with this as a way to get, new clients for ourselves.
Dude, and honestly, like that actually warms my heart hearing, I'm not gonna lie. And then, so you mentioned, I almost forgetting my effing question. And then, so after that, it's like you saw it, you're like, oh my God, we have to test this.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert for the audience, you jumped into an ice bath in a suit. So walk us through that process, please.
Yeah, so what we were doing was, we were like two things. One is what I love about the strategy is it needs to be a pattern interrupt. Like it needs to be something significant that catches people like off guard, like what's going on. And then two, it needs to be personalized for that person. So any of these ones where I'm working on one-to-one videos that are individual, I knew that I needed to really personalize that, but I couldn't post all of them. Like I wasn't going to post 20 videos of me reaching out to people. So rather, I created a version of the same concept, standing in a suit in an ice bath, do a cold plunge, talking about warm up your prospects, right? And so I created a general version of what was a really specific one-to-one outreach. And I took that general version and posted it on LinkedIn. And so this is the one that you saw, and the one where we got connected was that kind of generalized version. It not only was a huge pattern interrupt for the LinkedIn feed, but it was also explaining, like people aren't realizing really, like subconsciously, like I'm explaining what we do. So they're like for the first time seeing a video of me and hearing what we do. And long story short, this literally ended up in like 7 people within like 6 hours reaching out to me saying, hey Parker, like I want to hear more about what you do. I'm interested. And these are like ICP, sales leaders for me that are coming into my LinkedIn DMs or texting me that I've known for a while, or they've known me at least, from following, that have never reached out about a conversation. It's sparking old, like some of them are old deals that faded out, some of them are new deals that we hadn't talked before, and so really exciting result from literally, this is one of one, post that we've done on that.
And how long, I have a guess, how long did it take you to make that video?
Oh, that I mean, it's so the cool thing about that one was it was super quick. It really, the creative was like, how do I come up with an idea that's like relevant enough but pattern interrupt? And that took us, I was like, well, I already like cold plunging, and this is already something that I do, so like it doesn't have to be really that crazy. And then it was a one take video. I mean, I literally, because I was going in the suit into the cold plunge, so it was one of one that took a 60-second, one take. And so it does not have to take a crazy amount of time, but it's the pattern interrupt and the quality of the video that I think is the separator.
And honestly, like when those inbound leads coming in, like the dopamine that you get, like when it just hits and you just see like really cool video, we should speak. You just sit there like,
yeah.
Yes!
And the video got hundreds of reactions, like literally over 10,000 impressions within the first day. 100 comments on it. Like, I mean, so like even not for those 7 inbound leads, literally, 10,000 people seeing that within 24 hours is a massive, amount of reach that I wouldn't have otherwise had on just an average post.
You could literally like, and this is what's happened to me, and like that's how you basically became aware of like that existed. Like you just build your entire brand off people just thinking you're insane and being like, oh, okay, well, this is said, I want to work with you. Like your entire brand just gets built off that, and it's just, oh my days.
100%, and that really is like when I tell people, because as soon as I found out about you, I sent it to like 6 other people, and like when people were like, oh, like tell me more about this guy, I'm like, yeah, basically dude's just like crazy. I was just like, this guy is just doing like crazy stuff that like no one does in sales, and so like definitely check him out, right? And that was kind of like the pitch.
Thank
right?
you. Yeah, so, I've got one plan next week. That's gonna be.
I can't wait.
That's gonna be it's gonna be aggressive. For a special someone called Cole Gordon. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Now the thing is that this is also exciting, but sometimes people have like reservations or hesitations about this. Do you have any hesitations about doing it or no?
I think here's like a couple of things that I have been thinking about, especially as like even I think about like, oh, would I bring our team members on to do it themselves as well, or like different things like that. I think it's like there's a mix between like personality, right? So it's like, are you down to like experiment on camera? Like maybe you haven't done video before, right? And that's a reservation. Like for me, I want to like even coach my guys on like, hey, like we've got to test bringing the energy up to an uncomfortable level, right? You and I are a little bit more comfortable on video, but like, hey, test the boundaries of bringing the energy up, right? Same thing with like kind of like looking crazy to our point here, or just like, do I want my personal brand to be that? Like people resonate with creative. People resonate with a story they can follow. I was just downstairs in the kitchen making a coffee, and somebody walked by and said, I saw your post yesterday. It was awesome. Like, I love the creativity. Totally different than I'm literally just like in the kitchen downstairs, right? And so that's the type of stuff to me. It's like no one has been like, oh, Parker, I hate that you're doing creative video online, right? It's just not something. And even in the world of cold outbound, people are like, blank, F you and blah, 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 right? Back to like cold email, right? No one has ever had a negative reaction to me taking the time to film a personalized video for them, right? Yeah. And so those are some things that I've thought about. But like at the end of the day, you pushing the boundaries on how you think about yourself, not taking yourself too seriously. I'm standing in a suit in a cold plunge tub. Like, yeah, I can't take myself too seriously, but the quality on the other side of having done that is totally worth it. Yeah.
Oh, you kind of answered my next question, but I was going to say, so what would you say someone's on the fence right now, just to wrap it all up?
Yeah, man. No, I'm even in the early days of this, I'm so like from an industry perspective, when I think about sales over the last 7 years, it is harder than ever to break through the noise. It is harder than ever to build trust. It's not just because of AI outbound, but it's also because it's so easy to spin up a product. It's so easy to spin up a website. People don't have the level of trust for sales that they used to. And so we have to, in the sales outreach process, then adapt to that and not let it be something where, oh, well, yeah, I'll just keep doing my cold calls and doing my cold email. Like, okay, great, stuff like that's good. But how can we make sure that we're continually rising above? Like the standard is now, it was here, it's now here, and we have to make sure we're finding ourselves up here. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I couldn't have said it better, honestly. 10,000 impressions, 7 inbound leads on a one-take cold plunge suit video.
Crazy.
Honestly. Absolutely incredible. Well,
yeah,
I honestly couldn't have said it better.
I was going to say, thank you for the work you're doing. It's awesome. It's awesome. And I could not be just more excited for people like you who are pushing the bounds of creative in outbound and like for reps who are coming up right now. There's never been a better time to stand out as a new rep, because every other rep who's been around for a long time is just doing the same stuff over and over again. And so we get that opportunity, and it's an exciting time.
Amazing. And on that note, couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much, sir.
Heck yeah, I love it. Thanks for having me, and excited to see new videos coming out.
It's coming.